we do record every session. These recordings are available to you whenever you want to, have a look at them. Let me repeat again. So business analysts are basically a team or a person who talks to client visionary, try to gather his thoughts into requirements, convert them into functionalities, and functionalities documents can be handed over, documents, diagram, whatever you created as an author, hand it over to the development team. Development team being product team, project team, solution team, services team, what are they doing? Or a combination of whole. So we normally talk project as a solution which combines any of these factors, right? And these teams, they do create these things, they do develop. So there's a big part of communication clarity, bringing various using various tool sets to get that communication clarity from the client and move to the development team or hand it over to the development team. Any confusion so far?
No, we're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead. Let's come to our. We've seen this thing. Me and Richaji, we are going to guide you basically throughout these sessions. I'm categorically use word guide you rather than trainer and all those things. We are there working together. You might have some better idea in certain scenarios. I might have some better idea in scenarios. So we discuss it out, right? If there are any confusion, conflicts, we do fight. Fight in the sense we do diplomatic fights where we can use good diplomatic words, professional words, and try to sort out our whatever differences are, because everybody is learning, right? Even I can be wrong sometimes. So it's as a human, please understand these things. We are all senior people. Okay. Then we'll talk about project management and product management, agile, scale agile. We discussed things last time. Let's try to understand business analysis as a process. So today we are going to take a deep dive in business analyst. Business analysis as a process. Business analyst is a guy or girl who does that, right? So let's try to understand business analyst as a part of our whole curriculum. We're going to build our thought process. How do business analyst works? How do we can guide them better? How we can take part as analysis in the process, right? So on and so forth. So we'll basically learn ourselves how business analysts work, and you can work as a business analyst any time of the day. This is kind of simplest profession available. You don't need to do anything in terms of technicality. I think there are some background noises. Preeti, could you please mute yourself?
Sure. Sorry.
These noises a bit disturb sometimes. I know we are all working from home, so there are these challenges we need to incur. But whenever you're talking, please unmute yourself and talk. Same thing I would do basically. This will help us to eliminate all the knowledge, all the background noises. We are working from home. I can understand, and I clearly understand there are family members who come and greet you, meet you, and so on and so forth. And these festive seasons, there could be some relatives. Even I have a couple of relatives at my home, so please don't worry on that part. Okay, and don't feel bad about this. This is just for suggestions, and as we are learning, I believe this is a better environment that way. Okay, chalo. Next step. So let's try to understand business analysis as a process. So what do you do? I normally get oriented with a client, with a visionary. So meet, greet. Normally, let me give you a background how this is used to work in a good old days. In good old days, there's a meeting, mostly dinner, lunch, wine and dine, and all those things used to happen with client visionaries, mostly sales manager type of guys who used to arrange these meetings, and there will be a couple of business analysts with them. They normally go with a voice recorder, pen, paper, and all those things. So we used to greet these guys. We used to understand the background. We used to understand what are the problems, solutions he or she is suggesting to you. And then we'll jot down something called what you call minutes of meeting. Minutes of meeting is a document which is shared with all participants of meetings to make sure whatever we discussed formally, whatever we taken down, those minutes or the results or approvals we have talked on during this meeting is normally jot down on a document. Normally a Word document. There are Excel sheet templates also available. I'll share a template with you so that you can do a bit of hands-on where you can discuss some minutes of meeting. Okay, let me give you an example, and this example I normally carry forward throughout these training sessions. you're working as a business analyst, project manager, product owner, or whatnot, with a company called Infosys, and Infosys has a client called State Farm. St. Louis or Peoria based insurance company called State Farm. They major in auto insurance and healthcare insurance. Let's take our sales manager, Mr. Ravindra, take you as a BA to this meeting at their office. And in the office, we meet around 6-7 gentlemen in a conference room where we discussed their problem for their attendance management system. Being the attendance management system manual, they have a ledger to be signed by each and everybody who enters into that office and state his work, meeting, whomever he is meeting, time, sign, and he produces an ID to the supervisor, who normally validates that ID and then enter to the office. This is a normal process. I think we have all seen, right? It's a normal manual standard process. Now the VPHR at State Farm request us to give a solution on this, to convert this thing to an automated system, a technology dependent system, 24/7, available to all 350 offices across the globe, and a centralized database. Fair enough? Have you understood what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Think this as a movie, think this as an typical start of the project or project initiation type of scenario. So where me working in Infosys as an analyst, go with my sales manager called Ravindra to a meeting at a State Farm, meeting VPHR and all 6-7 other delegates, where we are defining or where we are trying to understand their problem in their attendance management system, and we're going to enhance their attendance management system with all those biometric cloud-based solution, 24/7 centralized database, and blah 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 stuff. Now, why this scenario? Because scenario and practical challenges make us understand in depth how the actual analysis works on a ground. Now, what do you mean by great oriented? You first meet them, greet them, hi, hello, who's this, who's VP, who is executive, who is actually database administrator, and blah 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 thing. So all bandwagon of the IT partygram of a State Farm meets you and sales manager. Discover the primary business objective. So what's the primary business objective here? We are trying to solve the problems at State Farm, all the offices, as their recruitment, as their attendance management, and moving the attendance management from manual to automated thing. So there'll be no person standing or something like that. So there'll be no human errors and kind of scenario. Okay, now let's try to understand what you mean by defined scope. Now, defined scope is a kind of boundary. Okay, scope is a kind of a reference start in we normally assign to a given problem. So we're going to solve the problems of State Farm for all attendance management challenges currently they are facing. So there'll be leave management. Will it be a part? Yes, it can be a part, because it is a part, because leave management is directly attached, or it's a kind of subsidiary of attendance management. Okay, something like that. So this library management can be a part of attendance management. Anybody? Can anybody answer?
I think so.
Hello?
Yes, I think so.
Do you think library management can be a part of attendance management solution?
I think so, yes.
Yes, okay. We have one yes. Any other suggestions, thought process?
I mean, it depends. It's in a
You think
school and there is a library period, then yes. If it's, like a public library, then no.
okay. State Farm is an insurance company, sir. So do you think State Farm will have a library at their office? There are chances, that's right.
Yeah,
No,
there are chances,
also,
but it won't have attendance. Yeah.
exactly. No. So there are pros and cons, and we can debate at throughout the day. Don't worry on that part. These are like kind of gray areas, right? We call it gray areas because we couldn't decide on our own. So what we do, we'll ask in the meeting, hey, Mr. VP, could you please guide us? What all included in your attendance management solution? Can we do that as an analyst? We can, right? And it's simplest possible solution to that. So we normally, during the meeting, you are meeting at, dinner, lunch, whatever, you just ask the person, hey sir, could you please guide me? Do you want to include your library management solution? Because I believe any office can have a corporate library to, lend a couple of books or new trainings, because nowadays all corporate majors, they have these, at least 8% training for all employees. 8% of the time share of the year, it should be spent in training. So that's how the overall, these are great research by Carnegie Mellon of how much training should we give to the employees. And that's how we come up with this 8% kind of benchmark. Well, these are benchmark different from different. 8% is for IT. Okay, so if the State Farm really works on this benchmark, there should be some trainings and there should be some library, because there should be some reference book, recordings, and kept somewhere. It can be digital library online, it can be a physical library. So do attendance management system has to include? If he say yes, we'll include. If he says no, we don't include. As simple as that. So these things, like we define scope, we try to understand what are included in solution, what are State Farm wants us as an Infosys, as a company working with State Farm to give them a solution, what all should be included, excluded, and so on and so forth. Now there are two things, we'll discuss it in detail later. There are functional requirement and non-functional requirement. Okay, there's something called vision, mission, right? And there's something called requirements. How do we differ these things? I want to do something, it's as simple as my wish list. But the requirements are basically, we have to do these things. We need these things. So those are confirmed requirement. Then we can say approved functionality. Confirmed requirement, whenever you jot down a list in a Word document and MOM, minutes of meeting, when it's approved by a client, it gets converted to the functionalities. Requirement is a thought process. Functionality is actual documentation, what we've converted to that, right? So we formulate a business analysis plan. Now, how this plan is formulated, I'll also share the template with you with a document called System Requirement Specification. First, we start with minutes of meeting. Then we might have something called business requirement document. Now, what is business requirement document? It's a typical Word document or Excel document where client shares their wish list. Clients share their requirement for the solution of attendance management system, or enhancing the attendance management system, or making the attendance management system digital. And these are normally the labels which we use as a project name, services name, and solution name, and so on and so forth. Any confusion at this part? Anybody have any question at this moment?
No.
Have you understood the first four steps in business analysis process?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Now, fifth one, define detailed requirements. And this is a BA deliverable. So BA deliverable in the sense, this is what we deliver to the technical team. So system requirement specification, I'll share the template with you. It's normally a Word document where we jot down all, there are total 9 chapters there. We fill in the blanks for these 9 chapters there, and we hand over this document to the development team. Now, why this is why we have to use template? It's a defined process, so that we don't have to start from scratch, giving a label to the Word document, entering the author name, reviewer name, create a table, and all those things. These are all already done in the Word document. As a business analyst, I just fill in the blanks. So I start from chapter 1, paragraph 3, executive summary. In executive summary, what I'll discuss on December 25th, 2019, we met State Farm VP, Mr. So-and-so. We met Mr. So-and-so designation, so-and-so contact, and we discussed about their challenges in attendance management system. The executive summary to do it, State Farm is an insurance company, offices, here, we had a meet there, then they have around 350 odd offices, this is their website, this is what we discussed. So primarily, we are basically targeting to give them a solution, Infosys as a company to State Farm as a company, Infosys will work on this solution and deliver these solutions by next Christmas and so on. So something like that. So this is the executive summary. Second one, trying to understand the vision mission. So what's the solution they required? They required enhancing attendance management solution. And this is where the minutes of meeting, or we just copy paste the minutes of meeting and paste it in the chapter and saying the approved requirements are so and so forth. We just create a list and saying these are the approved requirements for them. Let's try to convert it to functionality. So approved requirements normally have something like this requirement is given by VP HR, this requirement given by HR executive, this requirement given by the IT manager, and so on and so forth. But in functionality, I just list down whatever we are committed to give them back as an included in that product, solution, support, services, whatnot. And this is how we deliver these documents to the development team so that development team can start working on that. Fair enough? Any confusion so far?
No.
We are just trying to understand the business analysis process now. And then there could be some support technical implementation, like if they have something like SAP, if they have something like, any library management system already installed there, we might need to connect to that. If they have something like, ERP, enterprise resource planning, we'll understand depth in whenever, we at a later stage in business analyst, we might need to connect to this software so that data can be shared. Like ERP normally have all the employee details, their birth dates, joining date, leaves taken, and blah, blah, blah things. So we need to get that data and put it in our system. Okay, so this is what we include in the support technical implementation. What all things to be implemented? The next step, help the business implement the solution. So we are going to work closely with the development team to help them build this solution implement. We might act as a tester, we might act as an advisor, we might act as a reviewer to this solution, services, projects, what all they're going to do, and assess the value created by solution. Now, this makes sure business analyst also an integral part of the satisfaction of the solution. These are not basically, we are talking about the monetary values, the profit and loss, but we are talking about the satisfaction getting created between these two big entities, two big companies, where we are trying to start a new engagement of giving a solution from an Infosys to a State Farm and earn some money. As a Infosys has some, as an organization, they want to earn money in giving this solution, creating this solution, developing this solution. And as a State Farm, as an organization, they want to have really economical solution delivered to them by a certain IT company so that they can closely work with Infosys for a longer time and try to get more business benefits of getting really modern, technical, advanced solution at a lower price, at economical value, or what they believe as a best value possible in the world, and implement them for implement these solutions for them. Simple enough. Any confusion, so on and so forth? Can anybody want to explain what business analyst as a process in their words? Just try it. Means I believe we have a business analyst experienced person in our group as well. So I would really request her to please try to put this in her word. We did it last time, but let's try to repeat that thing. So what do you think business analyst as a process is normally depicted here? Please go ahead.
Yes. So should I continue?
Yeah, please go ahead, Priya, man.
Yeah. So as a business analyst, the first thing we do is we are, as Ravindra, you mentioned, that the first meeting we have with the sales manager, we go and meet the client. That's the first meeting. And then we go and understand the high level requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the minutes of meeting we prepare with them. And then once we have that, we define the business objective, like we understand what is mainly required, what is the primary objective of this project.
Perfect.
So once that is understood, we define the scope, high level requirements, scope statement, that as what you mentioned. Then we have the requirements document, BRD documents, if we have that from the client. We understand the list of requirements, what client requires. We can get those requirements from different departments from the client. Once we have that with us, we can have individual discussions with each of the departments and clients specifically, and prepare our functional requirements based on that, based on further discussions with the clients. And once we have the entire functional requirements ready, we can pass on that, and on approval with the client, we can pass on that to the development team and discuss and make them understand like what is required and how we can visualize the entire system. Maybe we can show them the prototype screens to the development team so that they can understand more better. We can also make them understand different integrations which is required from other systems, to and fro the data that needs to be transferred from the systems. And then we can have the knowledge transfer from a BA to the development team. And once they understand the entire system, they can develop the system. And then the business analyst will test the system as a first step. The testing team as well as the business analyst can test the system. And then it can pass on to the client. We can have a demo with the client. We can show them the system. And that's how the process goes. And any defects or whatever, that we can rectify them. And then the final product will be ready and will be showed to the client.
Wow, that's really great. Means, have everybody understood? Means Shiva explained it really well, word to word, from start to end, right? Anybody want to try, doing themselves? Let's try to be talkative. Let's try to describe these things yourself. Your words does matters, right? Because whenever interviewer asks, you want to answer this question, like what business analyst process does. So this is the actual thing. This is the actual process map, what we normally call it. We need to describe to them end to end. So we normally try to understand vision, convert it to a requirement, convert it to a functionality, get it approved. We create a document called SRS, System Requirement Specification, get it approved, hand it over to the development team. And then we can be in advisory positions, testing, working as a tester, reviewer, so that the solution is totally aligned with the requirement given by the client, and so on and so forth. Okay. Does anybody want to explain in their word? Have anybody want to try? Okay. Why I was insisting this, because now we're going to the more technical depth of business analyst. We're going to have a look at that BA book, not in depth, but by parcel and bits and parcel, so that we can understand business analyst in depth, and we'll be basically utilizing the best possible best practices available to the industries. Okay, and then we'll try to march up to a level of a standard business analysis globally. Okay, so that we can say I normally refer to the IIBA's BA book, so that my all processes are standard up to a level of global working, right? Let's try to understand what this BA book is and why we basically refer it so much. This organization IIBA was formed in, I think, in 1940s or so, 40s or 50s, where there was really big challenges of understanding why we failed on our project. So, there was many persons from a great institution called Carnegie Mellon Institute of Management. There are some persons from Caltech University. There are some persons from IEEE, that engineering institute, which normally give membership to all engineers across the globe, and so on and so forth. So in North America, we had this good debate about how do we standardize business analyst or requirement gathering as a process. So then came up with something called business analysis as a separate compartment in a project management, where we try to define a standardized process for all industries. Okay, this is a guideline. These are the guidelines. There could be an organizations who called SRS as a requirement document. Does happen. Mostly European, they use their own mumbo jumbos, but we normally, as we work in North America and Canadian region, we normally stick to these things, and all North American and Canadian industries, they normally stick to IIBA as a guidance point for business processes. So do we, right? A guide to business analyst body of language called BA book is a standard for practice for business analysis, and it's for the professional who perform business analysis tasks. So business analyst, recognized globally as a standard of business analysts, it guides business professionals with the 6 core knowledge area. Now, this knowledge area are basically six major points which we need to cover whenever we do business analysis as a process. In project management, we have 10 knowledge area. In business analysis, we have 6 knowledge area we need to cover too, so that we don't miss anything in a standardized process format. This is like a template, right? This is like a guidance document or a Bible to be referred to. How do you live in your life? Something like that. So how do you do business analysis? There are some best practices here. There are some good templates here. There are some good, documentation in terms of input, process, output. In the world, each and every process can be explained in what goes in, what does process, or how does the process happens, and what does come out. So what we need is the result. What we start with the requirement, and this is a normal process followed even in management, even in business process. So we'll normally think it through. We'll normally learn it through a mechanism of input, process, output. As simple as that, right? Everything could understand this. Everybody can understand this. Like if you make a tea, how do you make a tea? You collect pot, water, tea powder, masala, and all those things. You put it in a pot and put it to boil. Somebody can do it sequentially, first after the other, and so on and so forth. But normally you boil the tea. Also add milk, cream powder, whatever you like. Filter it in your cup and start drinking. Coffee, bit simpler. You can collect coffee beans, make them to a boil. Collect the concoction and add a milk or cream to it and start drinking coffee. If you want sugar, you can add sugar. If you want, elaichi powder, masala, and all those things, you can keep adding as per your like. This is like input. So there are some raw material I collected. I do some process, and then I get the results. Something like that, sir. So as simple as that, we have 6 such steps to be learned in this BA book. We'll come to each and every of these steps, and we'll discuss in detail, and then we'll try to understand what type of tools do we use in a real life. We do some hands-on on that, and that's how we learn the business analyst. That's the process we normally do. Okay. Any confusion so far? Anybody have any question for me at this moment?
No.
No.
No. Okay, great. Please keep answering, because then I feel I'm attached to something. I'm talking to somebody and so on. Okay. Let's go ahead. So yes, BA book guides us for deliverables, techniques that the business analysis professionals require to achieve better business outcome. So these are standardized process we are talking about, right? The definition of BA book for the business analyst is practice of enabling change in an organizational context by defining needs and recommended solution that deliver value to the stakeholder business. I know this is a bit difficult, but let's try to make it simple. Okay, the major bold things are here: enabling change, defining needs, and recommending solution. So what BA does, BA try to enable change. BA try to support the business change, support or build a business solution, build a project, services, support, whatever it may be. So enabling change for a betterment of a business, to be more profit, to be more cost effective, to be more accessible, and so on and so forth, by defining needs. So what we do, we define needs. We understand the business requirement, we define the needs, and then recommend the solutions to them that will deliver value to the stakeholder, value to the business. The set of tasks and techniques that are used to perform the business analysis are included in the business analysis gamut, and these are done by business analyst. Okay, this is to be liaison between client and a development team, a bridge at times to support business change, initiate solution conception without conflicts or confusions. These are taken from the BA book. Okay, so what BA does, it's a kind of liaison between client and a development team, a bridge at times to support business change, initiate solution conception without conflicts and confusions. Any difficulty in understanding these things?
No.
No.
Okay.
You're good.
These are bookish definition. we are not going to write any answer. But if you want to give a certification for BA, means there are some certification by IIBA. If you go to iiba.org, you'll find list of around 6 certification that can be done for a standard BA, starting from assistant BA, professional BA, and so on and so forth. Have a look at it whenever you have a time. And if anybody want to do a BA book certifications, there are good torrents available for the question terms, for all, the recordings and all. And I'll be happy to share my older recording of business analysis complete class. Those are around, 100 hours of approximate, training on business analysts only. Okay,
That will
so
be
don't
great.
worry on that part. If you want to do a certification, please, do let me know. We can take it to another level, because you need to really study deep into the business analyst as a process, learn each and every tool, whatever they've suggested, jot down some really great number of diagrams, or use some, good analysis tool, and we'll learn some tools in, even in this, sessions, so that you'll understand the process exactly how it's done. Okay. Even after these sessions, you'll be able to start working as an BA. That's my commitment. And I'm there to support you whenever you start working as a BA, so that if you have any problem, we can study extra tool sets if the organization asks you to work on. So please don't worry on that part also. Even I'm there to guide you throughout the interview process, like, what are the other questions asked previously in their previous interviews and so on and so forth. Even there's an angle to a domain experience or domain expertise in a given interview, which we will guide at the time whenever the interview comes. So if you are giving interview to an insurance company, we might learn something about insurance before. Like, what type of insurance do they supply? Healthcare insurance, auto insurance, there are dime a dozen insurance, right? So whenever you're going to join a company, we walk a step proactively, understanding their business, understanding their need for analysis, what type of analysis they are looking for, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's on my shoulder. Please don't worry on that part. Right now, we are just going to understand the business analysis as a process, business analyst as a job roles and responsibility in general. Then we'll go to a specific industry level, specific organization level, and try to learn those. Okay. Anything do you think I missed in this whole, set of business analysts as a training points? Anybody have any extra expectations from me? Please do speak up. Anybody have some
Ravindra ji,
additional? Yeah,
quick
please
question.
go. Please
Yeah,
go.
this is Siddharth.
Yeah,
So
please go.
what I have experienced is that companies, they normally want a business analyst to be a subject matter expert. I mean, they
Right.
they
That's a normal
expect
experience.
you to understand all in all, end to end, all the business processes for a particular say business domain, whether it is manufacturing of cars or whether it is manufacturing of biscuits. They
Yeah.
want you to
Can I stop you there, sir?
understand everything. Yeah.
Yeah, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. In actual business, there's nobody who knows everything about anything. Believe me, that's a normal statement given by Carnegie Mellon. If you read his book, doing business the best way, he have mentioned this statement. He starts with this statement. And let's try to understand. Any CEO, CTO, or a business owner normally will not expect you to know each and everything in the world. That's not possible. Even if you look for a domain like auto, even if you look for a domain like insurance, banking, banking, and these are the really big. Even for that matters, as Hassanji said, education domain. You couldn't, as simple as that. That's a life, right? We as a human, we do work. So if any interviewer expects something like that, he's a fool. Let me, explaining in plain simple word. There are domain experts, and that's what I said. Whenever we get an interview, let's say Chrysler, let's say GMC wants to interview as an auto domain business analyst. So what you learn, you'll go to their site, you'll try to find out, hey Chrysler, what are the new cars you are bringing? Oh, you are bringing 2022 Chevy. Oh, I like the shape. So this curve there, that curve there, this HP, that BHP, this electrical battery types, that electrical DC motor, AC motor, this coil, that coil. I'll do a bit of brush up on that. And what I'll do, I'll try to match up my domain gaps. And this is what we do as a business analyst. Believe me, every business analyst, he or she has to brush up for that domain knowledge, because knowledge is always expanding. Believe me, that's how humans are evolving. We learn new things given day. We don't say we learned all the things. Even I'm working as a project manager for the last 25 years, but I don't say I learned everything in project management. There are some dime a dozen tools which I have never worked on. Does it make I can use them, but I really couldn't find time. I couldn't. None of my clients asked me to use that tool, so I have never used that tool. Does it mean that tools are bad? No, tools are not bad. They are made for a reason. Somebody have created. Somebody put sweat and blood in building those tools. The tools are there. Many guys are using it, so I will not say it's bad. Well, I have not used it, and it's simple as that. There are some gaps always as far as knowledge goes. So please, never build your thought process on the ground of I am perfect. Try to be flexible in life, because then there'll be a really difficult expectation to complete, and you might unnecessarily spend too much efforts in going to ideal scenario. There's nothing ideal in life. Means I'm not idealistic, or there's nothing like that. I don't want to what you can say condemn anybody for idealistic and all those things. There are perfectionists in this world, and we need to respect them for their own what you can say expertise and all. But in a given scenario, idealism looks good in theory. In practicability, there are always thoughts whenever I do skip certain things. I might have not worked on certain things, and that's kind of learning curve is there. Even throughout the interview, whenever you give interview, never say I know everything. Yeah, I think I need to learn those gaps. I might have missed those things. Yeah, this is a normal thing, and even a good interviewer will respect you for that, because then you have an attitude to learn. You have an attitude to gain your ground, right? And that's what the best thing a humanity can teach you. Believe me. So, sir, please don't think of like if anyone can know all the things, even a simplest possible domain for that matters. Okay, does that address your confusion, Siddharth ji?
Ji, sir. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Sorry, I stopped you in between, because this is really important, and we are this is a kind of job oriented training sessions, right? So these points are really great to discuss it, and thanks for I really thank you for bringing this up at this moment. Okay, so please go ahead, sir. Sorry to broke you in between. You were saying something. Have I answered your difficulty, sir?
Is this for me?
Yes, sir, Siddharth ji.
Yeah. I'm good. Thank you.
You're good, right? So
Yeah.
What we are trying to do here, we are trying to understand business analysis as a process. We'll learn some tools which are really popular, which are used or used as a standard for everyone across the business analyst as a team, right? So we'll learn those. So don't worry on that part. And it's my job to make sure you at least know something called UML, Unified Modeling Language. You at least know something called activity diagram. You at least know something called SWOT analysis, fishbone diagram. So these are 4-5 tools which I'm going to teach you, plus high-level diagram. So how to build conceptual diagram and so on and so forth. These are 5-6 things we are going to learn. We're going to do a hands-on practice as far as business analysis goes. So please don't worry on if you're going to miss anything. We are not going to miss anything crucial, believe me. So whenever you will be on a job, well, there are some difficult interviewers also in the world. So they might ask you, have you let's say interview at Chrysler might ask you what type of battery supplies available in the market. And these things do happen in the interview. There are ways and means to tackle that. We'll tackle that whenever the time is coming. So don't worry on that part. Okay, and be open in asking questions. Please don't think like how can I, or this doesn't feel good and all those things. We are not here to keep feeling about anybody, right? And no disrespect to anybody. We all respect. I respect you all for asking questions. So please never think like how can I ask such question. Please be open. Please be asked any difficulty if you come across, and I'll be happy to address those things. Okay, let's take a step further. Now, as a business analyst, this is diagram taken from BA book. Let's try to understand as a project, as a solution, how the evolution happens conceptually, and we'll also try to understand how we can draw a diagram conceptually. Could you see satin dabbas, dark blue dabba and light blue dabbas here, the square box or the rectangular boxes?
Yeah.
Could you see slides? Okay, great. Now, as we can see, there are inputs, there is a process called project, and there's outputs. So these all satin boxes, satin color box, you can rename the color as you want. You might call them orange, whatever. So let's call it orange. So orange, 3 orange boxes as in pre-project, rational and strategic analysis are inputs. And there are 3 boxes which are in process called project, delivery, and RAD. RAD is basically, a kind of acronym normally used for requirement analysis, design, definition in a business analyst role. There are always mumbo jumbos or such difficult acronym used in each and every profession. So if you're a doctor, you use all those really difficult name for a simplest something like fever. You might heard a word of 25 different letters used together, and you can't pronounce those things for a name of a fever or a type of a fever. This thing do happens. Even in IT, many people use their own linguistic or difficult words they've learned over the time. Something like that. RAD is another word in business analyst normally used, and these are referred to requirements, analysis, design, definition. Okay, so let's not worry about that. And there are 3 outputs: post-project, benefit, and solution evolution. And this is what they talk about, a scope of business analysis. This is a conceptual scope of a business analysis. You can categorize all the processes in these 3 conceptual execution paths. One is pre-project. So there could be some discussions happen before project start, which are called pre-project. And then there's a project. So there could be some discussions which we had during the project, during the construction, during building of those solution, building of those services, and other part of it. And then there's a post-project. So post-project is basically all the processes which are all the discussions which we had after delivery of the projects. There are many such discussions we do have throughout the process. And as a conceptual block, we can just describe, or we can segregate in these 3 different groups: pre-project, project, and post-project. We are more concerned about the project group, means whatever happened during the project, and we prepare ourselves in the stage of pre-project, and then we basically try to get the results which we have acquired in the post-project things. Okay, let's try to think about thought processes. The rationale normally created before. This is what we call vision, right? The vision, requirements, and then we build functionalities. We build this product which can do those things, and that's what we call delivery. And then we reap the benefits. So we get some payment, we get some satisfaction from a client as in benefits. In terms of strategic thoughts, we try to understand, try to analyze the vision in a strategic way, like why State Farm needs an attendance management solution. Okay, something like that sort. Then we build requirement analysis, we do design definition, we do various alternative options study and find them the best possible solution available in the market, and then we give them the solution. They might approve it, they might want to have another alternative. We discuss on that, we analyze that, we analyze the different options, we select the best options as approved by the client rather than as required by means what we think best for the client. We just directly ask them. Okay, now let's this is a really big philosophical point of me assuming what you want and saying what you want, means you are explaining what you want, right? And this is what we call expectation mismatch. This is the biggest challenge we have in our real life, believe me. So we assume what you want. I assume what you want, and then I tell it so, rather than asking you what you want. So me asking your expectation is basically making sure I'm guiding you in terms of whatever you require rather than what I thought you require. Could you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
Am I being too philosophical? Can anybody?
I'm sorry, but I didn't get you.
Yes, that's a good question. Right. So, strategically, let's say a real life example. As a woman, you're waiting, you're thinking in the afternoon, what should I, make for the dinner? And you assume, like, my husband will like to have a pasta in the dinner. You assume, right? Because from your experiences, you thought that pasta is really a, likable food by your husband. So you start, cooking pasta, you made pasta, and whenever he comes at home, you put the pasta dish before him with some, drinks and all those things, means all those sides and all those things. But the main ingredient of a dinner is your pasta. But husband comes to, home with all tired and, all those fight mode and says, no, why you make pasta today? I was expecting noodles or something else, basically, or a sandwich or something like that. So this is what we call expectation mismatch. You, as in, really great thought process or, strategic analysis, build a solution which is not in line with the client, in line with the respected entity. Does it happens? Have you experienced that these things do happen, right?
Yep.
Great. So to avoid that, what I'll do, I'll message him on WhatsApp. I'll call him and check, hey, could we have pasta for the dinner? And it's as simple as that. He'll say yes, no. So if he say yes, if I make pasta, because pasta, making takes time, right? It takes almost 2.5 hours. So, those 2.5 hours are in line with his thought process. So whenever he comes home, he might be in a bad mood, saying, I might have, asked for a sandwich, but then he'll feel whatever I have approved, I couldn't go back saying, okay, no. He might say, I might have liked sandwich better, but pasta is good. He can't say pasta is bad because we have already confronted, we have already clarified those doubts, we are already set an expectation level so that you can't go back on ethical levels. So this is a philosophical angle to the business analyst. When we try to understand a vision and what I assume as a requirement or functionality, I go to client and ask, hey boss, is this in line with your thought process? Is this in line with whatever you thought? Please make sure whatever we suppose to build is in correct direction with the expectation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. And this is really important and crucial part. Believe me, everybody of us should understand. And this is how we improve our life. Rather than assuming anything, start asking questions. Simple, right? Communication do help better. Do help ease my life up to a great extent. Believe me. Be a talkative person rather than well, we have to be a listener whenever you're learning. But overall, in generic life, be a talkative person. Share your thoughts. Even talk about your expectation. Hey dear, what do you feel if you make pasta today? He might say yes, he might say no, I like sandwich. If you're making pasta, do make for yourself, but get one sandwich for me at least. And that's a fair expectation, right? We can do that. Creating a sandwich can take hardly 10-15 minutes at the most. It's like assembly, right? Pasta, you need to really make that pasta, to boil it, to really make that white sauce, red sauce, what type of sauce you want to use, then all those addition to that, and so on and so forth. I'm not a pasta expert, but I'm just sharing as an explanations, or trying to give you a real life example that you can understand the strategic analysis, the RAD, and the solution evolution part of it, right? So conceptually, this is what the scope is. So my scope is the project, how to get the project built better day by day. And that rectangle basically is the limitation of the scope. Anybody have any confusion at this moment? Anybody want to ask questions?
No, not from my side.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay, I'll take everybody understood. Yes, Hasanji, please go ahead.
No, just nothing. I'm okay. Thank you.
Great, no problem. Let's take a step further. Now, okay, as far as business analyst goes, the business analysis as in process are much matured at a IT level. Because in the IT, we play around with the data mostly, right? I'm an IT person, so I can vouch for such scenario. So, you being in some another domain, there are certain additional things which we do. So the BA role is kind of, become less prominent. But in IT scenario, we do create some processes, policies, and framework for each and every of such roles and responsibilities. So let's try to understand how BA role, is normally get performed in an IT organizations, right? So there's a product owner or a visionary who normally, let's take in our example, this VP HR from a state farm who gives an idea like he wants to enhance the attendance management system, right? And then there's something called project steering committee, right? So project steering committee is really senior fellows or, old organizational members who normally agrees with the product owner saying, oh, yes, Mr. VPHR, you're right. We need to really improve our, attendance management system because this attendance sucks. There are many, proxies. There are many, leakages and fallouts of this attendance management system. In the last month, I found out that, Ravindra was not present, but he marked as an attended and all those things, and so on and so forth. So there could be many leakages and pitfalls which we need to fill in, and we should have a really transparent attendance management system. So this is what we call project steering committee. These are all supportive, business owners of a product owner. Product owner is the guy who actually is a visionary who has the responsibility of getting the product updated, enhanced, or getting the vision implemented, right? So this is a product owner we are talking about. And then the product owner assembles a project assurance team. So what he'll do, he'll have an HR executives as a domain expert for the team, try to build this requirement, try to formulate a conceptual structure, what we need in the first place. So what we need a 24/7 type of solution, which will be, with the latest technologies, which will be common for all offices and blah, blah, blah things, and put together a document called business requirement document. And there could be some guy called user acceptance coordinator, which can be same HR executive who will make sure whatever solution delivered by the partner Infosys will be checked it out, saying is it matched with our requirements, is it matched with whatever vision we have shared with them. There's a business assurance coordinator and there's a technical assurance coordinator. These are normally labeled given by the IT. So please don't worry about it because there are chances like you might start working with the IT company like Cognizant, Wipro, TCS, because as in Guru School we have close tie-up with such IT majors in North America. You might start working with these things. So we might came across such mumbo jumbos, USC, BSc, TSC, and all those things. Okay, we are just trying to understand where this BA fits in the overall the gamut of roles and responsibility available across IT area. And then we have something called internal project managers. Now, internal project manager is an employee of Infosys, as we discussed in our example. So Infosys project manager, where me as a business analyst closely working with this internal project manager. And there are project team members who can come to me saying, hey, business analyst. So, when you say you need to integrate with SAP, whom should I go to in terms of, for that SAP connectors or, whom should I call to basically get these things working? Something like that, sir. So as a PA, I can be a coordinator for the team members. I can be an advisor to the project managers for building these solutions, right? So this is the whole gamut of people I normally closely work with him for a given project, solution, support, or a product. Anybody have any confusion on this?
No.
Great. Let's go ahead. Now, business analysis and the role. What we do, when you come across any job description, these are the things which normally included in a typical business analyst, job roles and responsibilities. Business analysts play a role in aligning the designed and delivered solution with the needs of the stakeholder. Well, this is after the solution has been delivered, but otherwise, he is the person who start understanding the vision from a stakeholder, from a client, from a visionary, from a product owner. Try to jot down those requirements, wants, wish list into requirement and then into functionality and build those documents called SRS, right? And also it try to understand how the design solution is really aligned with the business requirement, aligned with the business vision, which are shared in the, what you can say earlier meeting, whenever we discussed about the requirement for these solutions. Okay. And that's what we call needs of the stakeholder. The activity that business analyst performs includes understanding enterprise problems and goals. And this is what we talk about, the background of the solution or background of the requirement. Like we discussed, that VPHR was telling us, because there are too many problems of this manual attendance system. So we are looking for a really good standardized operating system, attendance management system across our offices, and so on and so forth. So these are their main problems which we heard of. So we need to solve them, and we need to solve them all if possible. If not, we'll solve them in a step-by-step manner, which is called phased approach. We'll have a look at it whenever we do project management. Analyze needs and solutions. So we'll build solution for all these needs. So what we do step by step, 24/7. So if you deploy this solution to cloud, it will be 24/7. So even if State Farm have an office in Mumbai, State Farm have office in Delhi, it doesn't matter. The solution will work for them. They just have to log into the system via smartphone, laptop, desktop, whatnot, and they can be used to mark their attendance, mark their application for leave or whatnot. Even if they switch offices from India to North America, they can still use the same attendance management system, and all those leaves, applications, approved, and all those things are in place intact for them throughout the globe. And this is what the actually giving solution for the needs. And this is what a kind of pair match, right? This for that and so on and so forth. Devising strategies means trying to build a solution which is more in alignment with the business thought process. So when I talk about State Farm, I can't ask them to have something like, full body scanner for that matters, right? It should be something simple enough like fingerprint, biometric scanner where you put in your finger and your attendance is noted, or an iris scanner where you put your eye across the machine and the machine understands this is Ravindra Pandey, this is the day, this is time, and whenever you scan your eye, the system does for you. So it's not too much effort on a attendee or too much effort on who is notifying the attendance, right? And actually deriving these changes, make sure the organization like State Farm understand the change, take the change most easiest possible way. Even facilitating stakeholder collaboration. So we do call, nowadays it's a Zoom meeting and Google meeting. We do arrange these meetings, we do lead these meetings to make sure like they understand what type of solution we are giving to them, and after giving the solution, train them in a best possible scenario, like they understand how this solution can be used, what's the best possible way to use this solution. Okay, and then so on and so forth. So these are some of the prime business analysis roles and responsibilities, right? Let's have a look at a video called BA Book Introduction, because hereafter we are going to learn all different those 6 elements or phases we talked about as far as performing business analysis duties, right? So let me share that video with you. I'll stop this video. I'll start the introduction. Give me a minute. Come on. Let me share the screen. This is video I took it because we need to understand BA book, how it's really formed and what type of thought process have been gone in creating this BA book. It's a small 5-minute video, so let's have a look at it. And I normally share this video. I'll give you a link of this video so that you can have a look at this video also whenever you feel a need, or whenever if you want to feel you need to revise or something. Okay, so let's have a look at this video.
Also known as Babel, has been developed by International Institute of Business Analysis to support the business analysis community. BABOK has been drafted to define the global standards for the practice of business analysis. This video introduces you to the structure of BABOK. BABOK Guide provides a business analysis core competency model called BACCM. The BACCM framework is implemented via 6 core concepts. These 6 core concepts are then applied to 6 business analysis knowledge areas. Each of these knowledge areas defines business analysis tasks, which must be carried out to perform business analysis. These tasks are performed by business analysis practitioners called business analysts. Each business analysis task is described by 8 unique attributes. Business analysts may employ different competencies, knowledge, and skills to perform business analysis tasks to complete business analysis work. Another BABOK concept is perspectives. It provides the context of business analysts for better execution of business analysis tasks. Perspectives define various views of business analysis. Let's take a look at all these BABOK components in a little more detail, starting with BACCM. BACCM is the conceptual framework of business analysis. It encompasses what is business analysis and what it means to those performing business analysis tasks, irrespective of perspective, industry, methodology, or level in the organization. Business analysis core competency model is implemented via 6 core concepts: change, need, solution, stakeholder, value, and context. These core concepts are applied to 6 business analysis knowledge areas. These represent areas of specific business analysis expertise. These 6 knowledge areas are business analysis planning and monitoring, elicitation and collaboration, requirements lifecycle management, strategy analysis, requirements analysis and design definition, and solution evaluation. These 6 knowledge areas have several underlying tasks. A task is a discrete piece of work that is performed formally or informally as part of business analysis work. In all, there are 30 business analysis tasks. Each task is defined by 8 unique attributes. These are purpose, description, inputs, elements, guidelines and tools, techniques, stakeholders, and outputs. Perspectives provide ways to approach business analysis work in a more focused manner suitable to the context of the initiative in the enterprise. The perspectives included in the BABOK Guide are Agile, Business Intelligence, Information Technology, Business Architecture, and Business Process Management. Any given initiative might employ more than one perspective. Perspectives have the following structure: change scope, business analysis scope, methodologies, approaches and techniques, underlying competencies, and impact on knowledge areas. Competencies reflect knowledge, skills, behaviors, characteristics, and personal qualities of practitioners of business analysis. Competencies follow the trifold structure: purpose, definition, and effectiveness measures. Successful execution of business analysis tasks and techniques is often dependent on the proficiency in one or more underlying competencies. Let me summarize. BABOK has been drafted to define the global standards for the practice of business analysis. BABOK Guide provides a business analysis core competency model called BACCM. BACCM is a conceptual framework of business analysis and is implemented via 6 core concepts. For example, the core concept need is a problem or opportunity that has to be addressed by implementing a solution. BACCM's 6 core concepts are applied to 6 business analysis knowledge areas. A knowledge area represents areas of specific business analysis expertise. For example, business analysis planning and monitoring knowledge area deals with organizing, planning, and coordinating efforts of business analysts and stakeholders. Each knowledge area includes a set of tasks for business analysts to perform. There are a total of 30 business analysis tasks. An example of a task is planned business analysis approach in the business analysis planning and monitoring knowledge area. Each business analysis task is described by 8 unique attributes. An example of an attribute is guidelines and tools that are needed to conduct the task effectively. In addition to PACCM core concepts, knowledge areas, business analysis tasks, and its attributes, there are 2 other concepts relevant to business analysis. They are perspective and competencies. Competencies reflect knowledge, skills, behaviors, characteristics, and personal qualities of practitioners of business analysis, whereas perspectives provide ways to approach business analysis work in a more focused manner, suitable to the context of the initiative in the enterprise. This brings us to an end of this video.
So I'll share back, my presentation. So, this is like he explained what are the BA book is all about, what type of 6 different knowledge area, which is a kind of need of the hour or a standardized practice for a given business analyst. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start with one by one. We're going to understand each and every knowledge area. We're going to understand what is input and output as far as this knowledge area goes, and then we'll discuss in depth like what type of inputs needs like performance. Let's take one today, okay? Because we are at logical segregation point. We'll have this knowledge area repeated in our next sessions, but as of today, let's try to understand one, and you'll understand how we're going to discuss and arrive at a point where we'll understand the best practices across the globe as far as business analysis tools and processes goes. Okay, the knowledge area 1 is BA planning and monitoring. Okay, now this knowledge area is used by business analysts to plan his or her job, to keep monitor and improve the job continuously. So this is a kind of umbrella activity which goes throughout from the initial day at your work to till the project ends, till the project move to the support, or till the product moves to the support or warranty phase or something like that. So okay, let's try to understand from a BA perspectives or a standardized way of doing BA planning and monitoring. So business analysis planning and monitoring describes the tasks that business analysts perform to organize and coordinate the efforts of a business analyst and stakeholders. So a business analyst closely works with stakeholder for performing all his or her tasks. These task procedures, outputs that are used as a key inputs and guidelines for the other tasks as well. So when you start understanding or BA business analysis planning and monitoring, you normally closely work with your stakeholders and have understanding of how these tasks are done. Some activity you might work with stakeholder on almost one-to-one basis. Other you might do it on your own and then get it approved or reviewed by the stakeholders. Let's try to understand from our standards perspective of input, output, input, processing, and output. So what are the 2 inputs we are talking about? The needs, wants, wish list, and the performance acts objectives. These are called external. Let's take an example. When we talk about something like, State Farm was saying, we need a 24/7 solution for our attendance management system. They've just shared a wish with you. They just shared a need with you, right? Simple. Have you understood what I'm trying to say? When VPHR says, I want a 24/7 solution, round the clock solution. Normal business requirement, right? Normal business need. Have you understand? Could you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Now, when you go to a step level, a step further, this guy says performance objectives as an external. Why external? Because we need to explicitly check if you couldn't understand what is 24/7 means. Because normally business runs from 9 to 5 or business runs for 9 hours at the max, right? Why 24/7? Then he'll come back to you and saying, boss, we have an office in offices in India, in Korea, in Middle East. And so we need to have all these systems integrated together. And that's what the need is clarified. So the inputs need to be clarified, understood, analyzed. Okay, and then we'll do some tasks, we'll do some processing, plan business analysis approach. So what I'll do as a business analyst, I plan my business approach saying, how do I answer this question? How do I implement 24/7? Okay, then I'll plan some stakeholder engagement. I do talk with business VP on phone or Zoom or Google Meet saying, hey VP business, could you please, guide me on, how do you think we could achieve 24/7? So he will say, well, we'll have connected computers across our global headquarters. So we might need some internet, or you can move to cloud. Then I can say, yes, moving to cloud. That's what I was thinking. So I think that's more economical, so that you will have something like, a virtual private server or something like a common login for all employees. And then they can access the same system from anywhere in the globe. That's what we do nowadays, right? So we plan our stakeholder engagement, plan business analysis governance. Even I'll make sure whatever vendor I choose as far as cloud, which is available, to the state farm guys whenever they want to talk to them, or whenever they want to improve their service, they want to add certain more servers and blah, blah, blah things. Even plan the business analyst governance is basically governing my own activities, making sure I improve day by day. So my personal, competency improvement also including plan business analysis government, so that I can do a better, business analysis activities day by day. Plan business analysis information management. Now this is the crucial part. And in IT, as I told you, there are quite a big word we use. This is one of them. Plan business analysis information management. What does this mean? This means please archive whatever you're doing. So if you're creating a document called minutes of meeting, please save somewhere, save and take a backup copy of it, so that I can plan my activities, I can plan my analysis informations, I can plan my result generated out of my analysis safe and secure, so that I won't lose them. And then identify business analysis performance improvement. So we are going to also continuously improve me, myself, as well as my organizations, as in Infosys, in a better way, so that I'm quite open to improve my process, policies, framework, even within my corporate environment. And I might suggest Infosys PMO, project management office, or my reporting authority, saying, hey boss, could we improve this process this way? I believe this is a latest tool set called Jira available in the market, which is also free of cost. And it gives me these facilities which I can do my job better, faster, quicker on the cloud, and so on and so forth. So I can suggest the best tools available. I can improve my process within my organizations. So we discussed about the input. We discussed about the process which I do. I have to work as a business analyst. Now take a step further and try to understand what type of output I need to create, the deliverables which I talk about, right? So all these 6 knowledge area have 6 different outputs, or we create so many auditory facts. That's what we say. Output is auditory fact. So business analysis approach. What is business analysis approach? This is a kind of step-by-step guide. What me as a person, me as a business analyst going to perform. What I'll do, I'll normally just jot down this step in an Excel sheet saying, okay, me, Ravindra, will meet this stakeholder today. We'll try to understand how he wishes to convert the solution to 24/7. My suggestion is use Google Cloud, use Amazon Web Services Cloud, or use Microsoft Cloud. And I'm going to suggest this thing to them, and I would request him to choose one of them. And we might discuss about the options, which is cheaper, which is better accessibility, which have better support, and so on and so forth. So I'll plan my business analysis approach. I'll build step-by-step guide whenever I'm going for a meeting. Second one, stakeholder engagement approach. Engagement in the sense, I'll decide. Some might like Google Meet, some might like Zoom Meet, Some might want to meet at a bus stop or in a garden, possible, right? There are personalities, there are wish lists from a client, which we might satisfy or we might give them a better way so that they can meet, they are ready to meet online rather than meeting somewhere physically. It saves time and so on. So it depends on me also, but I need to engage the stakeholder first. I need to get his or her approval and then plan these meetings. Governance approach. Governance approach is basically governing those approach, like where to meet, how effectively, how much time do I have for his meeting, how many meetings do I have to plan in a given day, given week, and so on and so forth. I'm not supposed to talk to each and every stakeholder, but at least those crucial stakeholder which have shared these needs, shared those wants are more important, right? Because that's on the paper. So I need to discuss with them. I need to take a good understanding of them in terms of understanding their wish list, understanding their thought process of why they have added this want or wish list in the overall solution approach. Information management approach. Yes, whatever document I create, I'll create a backup copy. If I created the voice file on my mobile, I'll basically copy the voice file to my desktop, laptop, cloud archival, whatnot. And then business analysis performance assessment. At the end of the day, after finishing activity, I take a minute or two and understanding how could I have done better. This is like analyzing ourselves. If I have to use, if there's any better tool available, I might check with my friend. Hey, I'm doing meeting with this guy, or meeting at this company. What do you think? Which tool sets do you suggest? If it's better or not? Well, the choice is mine, but still I can understand suggestion, his or her, thought process, his or her, guidance in terms of if I can use items for that, right? So on and so forth. So this is like kind of first knowledge area which I have explained to you. This knowledge area is basically the BA planning and monitoring. This is umbrella activity. Like this, we are going to discuss 6 knowledge area within the BA book and try to understand them, try to understand which type of tools and techniques I can use, right? And I'm going to share the templates with you. We are going to have a hands-on workshop, like how do you build mini submitting, how do you build the system requirement specification, and so on and so forth. So don't worry, you will be a good BA at the end of this BA capsule of our training sessions. Anybody have any questions for me at this moment? Any confusion so far?
No.
Do you think I'm adding value to your thought process?
Yes, you are, definitely.
Have you learned something? Do you feel you learned something?
Yes, I have.
Yes, sir.
No problem. This is a really difficult question, believe me. But I do ask because, you should feel like you're learning something from me. Otherwise, all my talks are either, going haywire or I'm not a right person to train you. So I do keep checking these things and, please do answer because, it makes me more confident, more, encouraged for these such type of activities. Okay. And I still need your guidance. I still need your expectation. If you have any, please feel free to speak it up. Please feel free to put it in your WhatsApp group as well. Okay. So I'll stop here because we are almost at 10:30, right? We used our 1.5 hours. I tried to complete our session before 1.5 hours. If in case the thing required as a logical conclusion, we might spill over at the most till 11 o'clock. But my basic goal is to complete the session by 10:30. Okay, so let's stop here. Let's meet again on Monday, right? Yes, Monday we'll have our next session. Yes, Siddharth. Any
Yes,
question from?
Ravindraji, do we get these slides as well?
Yeah, I am going to share these slides with you. Don't worry. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
give me another session. So by Monday after session, I'll share these slides with you.
all right.
See,
all right.
these
Yeah.
are like kind of work in progress. So, even I need to improvise this thing depending upon our discussions, depending upon our, likings and, those things as well. So I do keep changing these things. So if I share the, older version, it'll be kind of confusing for you. That's why I keep
Sure,
it to
sure.
the last point.
Sure.
Okay.
No, a good session. Very informative.
Thank you, sir.
A few new things that I got to learn. So thank you.
Most welcome, most welcome. And next session is really important. Please don't miss that, right? So we're going to discuss all those 6 knowledge area and try to understand what BA does on the ground and what type of tools and techniques we need to learn. And then we move to the learning tools and techniques. We might, do a UML diagram. We might do a, HLD diagram and so on and so forth. Okay. So let's stop here. Thanks a lot for your time, guys. And I'm really happy to, be with you. Let's try to be it more enjoyable. Try to speak up if you have any, expectation, any requirement, and we can discuss in depth. Okay. With this, I'll stop this session unless you have any, question for me at this moment.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Take
Thank you.
care.
You're good.
Bye-bye. Good
Thank you.
night. Have a
Bye-bye.
great weekend.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.